what they think about you. Here's what they think about you. Here's what they think. Here's what they think about you. Here's what they.
Whatever.
I have a problem when I like a video or a game and people ask me to rank it out of 10. Because I don't see the point in ranking them because I like them for different reasons. But now people think I can't make good takes because I don't have a top 10 list. So seeing as I watched and played a lot of stuff this year, today we're going to make a top 10 list and beat these allegations. And to prove to myself that I'm pretentious enough to make my own top 10 list. Look, I've never done this before, so some rankings I'm proud of, and some rankings I'm going to regret till the day I die. So come with me as I make this top 10 list and completely destroy all credibility I've garnered over this year and talk about my top 10 things I enjoyed this year. I don't know, I might add more numbers because I don't want to do all the shows dirty. I might add more. I've been replaying the Hogwarts Legacy game. I can't get enough of it. Doesn't it bring back good memories?
The top transphobic moments in Hogwarts Legacy.
I'm kidding. I forgot how polarizing this game was on social media. Because on one side, you had people like, oh my god, this is exactly what I wanted. I'm reliving my kid years in Hogwarts. I'm getting up to no good in Hogsmeade. I'm saving all of wizard kind. And on the other side, oh my god, I can't believe you're supporting that transphobe. This game was the first of its kind to deliver an open world wizarding game, so off the gates, everyone was saying this was Game of the Year. Little did they know. Ironically, the side missions were the most interesting storylines, teaming up with the students, doing rubbish, getting into shenanigans, and the main missions were like, boring. It was boring. Let me be honest, it was boring. If they had taken half the time to create interesting plot lines like they did in the side missions onto the main mission, maybe then it'd be in talks of Game of the Year nomination. Not Game of the Year, but nomination. Now, that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. I had boatloads of fun. Flying across the map, discovering secrets in the castles, and trying to unlock the drippiest outfits in the game. But because of the weak story and slightly lackluster open world, I think it's fine to say it's getting the 10 spot on the list. That means it's good, okay? Don't take that as a sign to not play. Yeah, I can already hear you throwing it in the bin. Listen to me, okay? It's on the list, so it's good. Just don't throw it out the window. Okay, before I go on this rant about how I hated this show, I just want to preface something. The disgust I have for this show is coming from two reasons, okay? Number one, 99% of you guys don't know, but I had a podcast running from like 2018 to 2022 that it was low-key supposed to be what Midnight Gospel is, interesting conversations, back and forth with different people. It's very bad, okay? Not gonna show you guys what it looks like. And two, half a year ago I was recommended this show and I gave it like 2 episodes and dropped it because I thought it was boring. And somewhere out there among the stars, there are people who aren't going to watch this show because of me, because when I dropped it, I told everybody it was boring. I told everyone not to watch it, and that was pretty stupid, okay? Because this show is amazing. Question, to all the people who have watched it and, maybe rewatched it, how's life right now? Is your life good? Are you on acid? Do you take some kind of drugs to, cope with life after watching this show? Because I remember my mental state when I finished this show, and it was something. I genuinely can't bring myself to talk about some of these episodes. The show is basically a retelling of the conversations the creator Duncan Trussell had with some really interesting people, mixed in with animation that, the only way to describe it is if the Adventure Time animators went on psychedelics. Oh, would you look at that? The main character, Clancy, uses this device that looks like, is able to TP himself to different points in time and space to interview these people. He talk about spirituality, meditation, life, death. It's weird because, saying this out loud, you'd think you need a pen and paper to take it all in, but because of the visual metaphors and how it's able to portray itself, it's really easy, digestible conversation. Look, I've never smoked weed or done drugs before, but when I think of 2 homies in a hot box, this is the kind of conversation I think is going down, okay? Like I said, it's mostly loose visual metaphors, but the final episode with Clancy's mom was a direct conversation Duncan had with his mom in the episode. And what we got was one of the rawest dialogue I've ever heard from a TV show in a while.
What do you do about that?
You cry.
You cry.
Some really heartfelt moments of a mother and son speaking about the moment every kid never wants to come to pass. A must watch that will either make you chill out and think about life, or freak out and think about life. It's a calm little number 9. Don't feel good about that, but we're gonna keep going. So this next one's a game. Kind of a cop-out because I started it back in 2022, but I dropped it because it was so boring. Because I'm a fan of games like Undertale or Amori, I've been like conditioned to talk to every single NPC I see on the screen. And the reason why I do this, I think it's interesting to get further context about the place, who the person you're talking to, and most times you get like a little quirky joke at the end. So it's a worthwhile conversation for me to talk to everybody I see. Do not do this for this game. I think the game is a little bit too realistic, and the only way I'd explain how boring these conversations can get is like, imagine if you stopped everybody that you saw on the street to strike up a conversation. 99% of those guys have nothing worthwhile to say. I can't lie, you're just wasting your time. But after a friend begged me to give it another go with the mindset of just talking to a couple people, the gameplay experience was 10 times better. Night in the Woods is a game about this girl named May, who comes back to her hometown after dropping out of university. She spends her days trying to rekindle flames, and she keeps dodging the question as to why she actually had left school. While I complain about how realistic and boring some of the conversations were, the reason why I liked this game was because of how realistic the characters were. The mannerisms, the pauses between dialogue and expressions made me feel like I knew these people. I could literally tell when they were uncomfortable, or when they were hiding something, or just being extremely sarcastic in the way they were speaking, but this was all text bubbles. If you've seen my Scott Pilgrim video, you'd know I'm a sucker for any 20-something-year-old who's lost and confused as they get up to shenanigans with their friends. I wonder why. And for some reason, I don't know why, they decide to kick the uneasiness in the story from a 5 to a 9 halfway into the game. And I genuinely want you to experience how I felt at these moments, so I'm not even gonna spoil what happens, but the plot thickens, and I mean it thickens. You know, gaming is a point of escapism for many, but when games get a little bit too specific in your own life, it's kinda hard to do that. You end up solving some issues, or at least finding some new ways of thinking about your own life the same time the main character thinks about their life. It's a great game, and if you got some time and you're in your early 20s, definitely give it a try. I'm gonna give this one a solid 8. TikTok is a filthy app. 99% of the content is useless humor, and you'll end up forgetting about it after like 2 minutes. But that 1% that shows even a shred of creativity, that one golden nugget in a mound of horse, it makes it all worth it. And this 1% that I found recently is Free Ride. So Free Ride is an adventure indie game where every action you take matters. I know you've heard that one before, but rather than your actions leading to insane boss fights or choosing between heart-wrenching decisions, you get the personality score at the end of a level. There are multiple ways to complete and approach any level, and doing what you think is correct is how the game judges your morality, ethics, and nature. Only a demo is out right now, but I still had tons of fun with it. Just from that one level alone, there's so many plot points that are being set up that I can't wait to see in the full game. And if that doesn't show how strong this demo is, I don't know what will. I was born in 2001, but I have a fake sense of nostalgia for that old PS1 low poly design. And this game is like a modern version of it. The thing that's interesting about this game is that you can't find out everything in the same run, because different conversations are happening at the same time. You know, some guy might give you the cold shoulder when you directly approach him. That's fine. Just load up a new run and listen to the conversation through the air ducts. Now, once you delve into one route, the other two become blocked off, but you can use the information you got in Route A once you go into Route B and spark up some completely new conversation. I did not expect to enjoy this game as much as I did. As soon as I saw that TikTok, I was sold. A game that becomes my therapist that I don't have to pay for? Sign me up! So if you have a couple hours to spare, try it out on Steam and compare your arbitrary personality tags between friends to see who's a virtuous good guy and who's the future psychopath of the squad. I'm gonna put this one number 6. 7. This is stressful. Now look, I've never spoken about my love for Star Wars on this channel because I consider myself a selective fan, meaning I've watched all the movies at least once, but I'm focused and in love with with the prequels, okay? There's something about the magic it brings with its characters and so many different plot lines that I just don't feel is emulated in the main story or definitely the sequels. And the Clone Wars TV show was so good, I find myself always going back to it every now and then. Every year I hope that we get a new season or something on the same level with the same animation. This is what the show is. This is what I'm going to talk about right now. Tales of the Jedi is a short series that looks into the backstory of arguably the two main characters of the Clone Wars, Ahsoka and Count Dooku. Obviously, in Star Wars fashion, the music is amazing. The set pieces feel grand and huge. The visual storytelling is obviously amazing. I love this show for its crude irony. Like, it's pretty ironic that we get an episode of Anakin training his Padawan against, like, armed clone troopers, and everyone's like, Anakin, you tripping. When is Ahsoka ever going to have to be in a situation where blasters and people of this skill and caliber are shooting at her multiple times at the same time? When I came down. Or once again, just how every advantage the dark side had against the Jedi were a byproduct of their own stupid judgment. Upon all their wisdom and knowledge, they don't see that the Sith are back. They don't see how they let one of the most important characters, Dooku's student, Qui-Gon Jinn, die because of their relaxed, nonchalant attitude. And they didn't see the moment when this nigga Dooku was too far gone. Any man who spends his time watching a tree like this cannot be trusted. Yoda, how did you get this position? Babies are dying. Governments are starving their people, and you're worried about the rules of the light side. Guy, it's literally the blind leading the blind. You know what? I'm glad Dooku killed your sister. No more Alabaming reproducing for you.
That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
You don't even need to watch any of the other material to enjoy this show, and that is what I love about it. I'm gonna give this one a respectable 6. Nah, that doesn't even sound right. How can I hype up this show as much as I did and give it a 6? This is why I don't. This video is stupid. It's stupid. Majorsky's expedition log. The end. It's day 84 on this planet, and I think I've finally lost it. I was originally tasked to bring back resources from my home planet and save my people, but at what cost? Little aliens that follow my unyielding command, without a second's thought, run straight into the line of fire without regard of their own life. At first, it was tough seeing my mistakes and my lack of leadership lead to so many dead Pikmin. But as the days went by, I became numb to the pain, numb to their screams. I kept trudging along, dogpiling every boss and enemy, knowing if I threw enough Pikmin, they would eventually die. Sometimes 20, 30, or even 40 Pikmin would have to go for a single boss to be beaten. I'd even use them to experiment foreign environments and climates. I once watched 10 purple Pikmin sink to the bottom of a lake just to see if they could survive. Every day, they look at me with those eyes like they have no one else to depend on. Wonder if this is how God feels as us humans wriggle at his mercy. Maybe it was for nostalgia or some way to keep my humanity intact, but I never sent out the first Pikmin I ever met. Private is what I called him. He stuck by my side selflessly as my way of saying, hey, you know, Private ain't dead. I'm not 100% evil. Yet Private is the only other being who has watched as many Pikmin die as me. I wonder if he holds any hate or grudge that I kept him alive to see his brothers or sisters die. Today, I was running low on Pikmin. I should have spent the day farming more, but I was in a hurry. I sent Private along with 5 other Pikmin to farm this berry branch offshore. A simple retrieval mission, nothing new. That wasn't until I heard from the other side of the valley their screams. The monsters had adapted to our tactics and cloaked themselves in the shadows, waiting for me to leave. One thing about Pikmin is that they're fierce, but with no guidance they're sitting ducks. I ran as fast as my stubby legs could take. I rode across Ochi's back, speeding at the lake to save them. I've never prayed before, but I prayed to God that Private was still alive, that I could live with myself another day. I saw it, the spotty bull bear on the horizon. They didn't stand a chance. I blew my whistle for them to come back to me, harder than I've ever blown before. So hard I was coughing mucus and phlegm, but it was already too late. The 6 Pikmin were now 2. Private and the fresh meat from yesterday. I yelled and yelled at this kid to come back to me, but for once, he ignored the whistle. The bull bear lunged for the final Pikmin, and in a last-ditch effort, Private shoved the newbie out of the way. I'd never seen anything like it. Even the bull bear was astonished. Words fail me. As I watched the bull bear reel its tongue back with Private coiled up in it, I would have swapped places. I swear to God, I would have. Anything to remove the look in Private's eyes as he locked them with mine. I saw the disgust and the hatred. Like this was his way of saying death was more appealing than a second longer with me. I heard his final battle cry, and that was it. If you're reading this, you need to get off this planet. I've tied this note to fresh meat, hoping you'd heed my word. These guys aren't just mindless slaves, they're souls. We can't play God in this world anymore. I still can see them right now. All the Pikmin comrades, they're looking at me. They want to know what became of the hearts they gave. I stashed everything I've collected in this cave, which is also my deathbed. I hope wherever I go after this, I don't get to see Private again. No, a reward like that for what I've done would be too good for me. Nope, we're not talking about Baldur's Gate on this channel. Nope. You and me know that it's game of the year. Okay, I put 90 hours into the game already. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't see myself slowing down on that game anytime soon.
Why would I get 2 dice? That's confusing now.
You got your advantage because you're a literal rogue. And you still locked? Bad. Ew.
Oh,
I have multiple saves, so. Yeah, save.
2, 1, go.
He's on their mind.
I slipped on ice. Yo,
I took everything.
So took J-Mo.
There's probably 1,000 reviewers have already talked about it before. So no, we're not opening that Pandora's box. Nope, 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 no. You know when people say sequels never match up to the original? No matter how much effort and work is put in, a copy of an original will only ever be second rate. Well, I think we say that because the few times that saying is proven wrong, we have a timeless gem that will be spoken about for decades to come. Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel to the game of the year, Breath of the Wild. Although I'm a Nintendo fanboy, these two were my only Legend of Zelda titles. I only know the land of Hyrule as this expansive open world to traverse, unlike the previous games. So, what did I like about this game? Look, this game has been out already. I'm not gonna try to be like every other YouTuber and say the exact same things about the mechanics, the gameplay, the open world aspects. You can go watch them, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to speak about the specific little details that made me just stand back in awe. Details that make me smile from ear to ear, even just remembering them. Details that make me just lean back in my chair and say, damn, that was the game. I'll never forget when I jumped into the underground for the first time, scared I might die as I sped into a gooey black hole, only to be met with an entire forgotten society right under Hyrule and a loud, bombastic horn that was played. It sent a shiver down my spine because it told me audio-wise, buckle up buddy, because this is nothing like you've seen before. I love the fact that I recognize places from the original Breath of the Wild map with some familiar characters and landmarks, but you can see the effects of just what the recent upheaval has done to the land. It felt nostalgic riding on this horse, experiencing a place I put almost 90 hours into previously, and it looked familiar and different at the same time. You know, I obviously loved the music and how grand my adventure felt, discovering different lands, beating bosses in new creative ways. I hated the fact these stupid guardians followed me everywhere, okay? This is a solo thing, always has been, always should be. I loved how I focused only on getting the max amount of hearts because, you know, I thought I needed 10 hearts to rip out the Master Sword just like Breath of the Wild, only to find out that it was stamina, not hearts. I loved how even though I did a bunch of side missions, by the time I thought it was time to fight the final boss, there was still so much to do. And I wasn't being punished story-wise for wanting to pick the main quest at random times when I got bored. I loved how goofy and stupid the physics are, and how you are congratulated for basically cheesing the game with Link's new powers. Literally the only complaint I have is that I wish there were more main side missions like defeating Master Koga. Those were legitimately the most fun I had throughout the whole game. So if you're one of those people who have been harping on about how there's no good open world RPGs out there, then I suggest you close your lips, buy a Switch, and play this game. While it doesn't fix every problem an open world comes with, it's probably damn near the closest thing we have right now, okay? It's a pretty good game. 3 out of 10. So far, this list is pretty comprehensive with a variety of things to like. We got the whimsical emotions of some stories, we got the standard therapeutic coming of age stories, riveting and unique gameplay for some of these games, but sometimes you just want to sit back relax, and see some of these guys who gotta do what they do what they do. You know what I mean? And this is one of them shows. Blue-Eyed Samurai was a show I accidentally found because it was in my recommendations on Netflix. I told myself I'd give it a shot when I finished Scott Pilgrim, but I also knew there was a fat chance I would do the same like I always do, you know, put it at the back of my catalog or shows to watch. Guy, oh my god, there is a multiverse version of me who has not watched this show. I am so sorry. Now I'm gonna be honest, this at times is your typical Ronin revenge story, cool guy with samurai sword killing people, but the visuals are beautiful. Literally freeze frame any scene from this show and it's a wallpaper. Boom, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. The story follows this swordsman person named Mizu, and he is on a quest to find and kill all 4 white people in Japan. I just read that out loud how racially motivated that sounds. I mean, it is. Like, the story is she has to kill white people. No, there's no but. If you didn't know, back then, Japan was pretty racist. Any foreigner who looked different was considered the devil, which is ironic because Mizu has blue eyes, meaning one of the 4 white men is Mizu's father. So she's on this quest, and it's revealed more stuff about her goals, her backstory, and her gender. Oh, by the way, she's a woman. And in between all that, you get these beautifully animated, choreographed fights. Oh my god! I know Spider-Verse came out, but in terms of composition of shots, I think this show takes the cake. It brings back the idea that a duel is a dance, constantly playing out scenarios, switching forms to see who will come out on top. It's great. Other characters grow on you like Akemi and Ringo, who also have their own moments to shine in the most satisfying ways. And you know, since I'm the one recommending this, you know it's not just straight action. It's the subtle moments of small emotions that really encapsulates this story as a real gem. You know, like any revenge story, Mizu is fueled by her hatred and revenge. Factors of how she looks, that she never chose to be like this, cause her to be an outcast from the rest of society. You know, that's not her fault. Why does she have to live through that? Always getting the short end of the stick in every situation. You know, reminds me of a certain struggler, yeah? And just like Guts, when she finally snaps, she snaps, I'm not gonna lie. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And now she's not only a metaphorical blue-eyed demon, but a real one, okay? It's an amazing sleeper pick on Netflix, and I don't want to spoil anything to do with the story, so if anything I said sounds enticing, definitely go give it a watch. So, you made it to the end of the video. Congrats. This is the final and best thing I experienced in 2023. Honestly, completely wipes out all the other things I said on that list. This completing eggs, solo diffs, whatever you anime debaters say on TikTok nowadays. And this thing wasn't a show or a game, it was a trip. This year, me and the boys went to Japan. Yes, I know 98% of you guys want to go Japan, and still 98% of you guys haven't gone to Japan. 3 weeks of nothing but dopamine rushes. Me and 9 of my friends traveled across the country, exploring this culture we had only ever seen from a TV screen all our lives. We saw everything from the wholesome to the really degenerate. We did it all. And we kind of forgot we had homes back in Ireland to go to, because every day was like an episode of Phineas and Ferb, just living in the moment, existing, excited to see what the day would bring. We were like newborn babies seeing the world for the first time and just being in awe of any little tiny detail. I, for one, thought it was really cool they had a woman's only carriage on the train. That way I have all the beautiful women bunched up in one place so I can raise them up. We got sidetracked so many times just because there was like a million things to do. And by the end of the trip, I had literally less than 60 euros in my bank account. And my first thoughts were, damn, that's 60 euros I could have spent on the arcade. On a more sentimental note, my favorite thing about Japan was in the 3 weeks I was there, I decided to make a piece of content to encapsulate my entire trip. I decided to go to every location that was ever depicted from anime in Japan. From Persona 5 to Hajime no Ippo to Your Name and JJK, I went to all of them. And in a weird, ironic way, I was able to meet some of the coolest people I've ever met. From locals to foreigners. I had a lot of people rooting for me in this 21 days because when you look at it, it was kind of impossible. But you know, I don't know. My 12-year-old self would be too proud, along with my current self, that I was able to travel across the world and see so many different things. And the fact I could record the moments I had with the homies and share them with the entire world. So I guess in a way, my favorite thing about this year was this YouTube channel. I was on less than a couple hundred subs at the beginning of this year, and now praise be to God, I'm almost at 10k. Every single upload, I feel myself getting more nerdy and getting more like myself, how I am naturally among my friends. And I think that's really cool. I guess in a way, you guys, you see my honesty, my passion, and I guess it's infectious and you guys come back for more. And I appreciate that a lot, I really do. So if you haven't already, go check out that Japan video. It was never really blessed by the YouTube algorithm, so I'm hoping that, you know, you guys can just give it that extra push. I don't know what 2024 will entail, but if it's anything like this year, man, am I excited. And when I do find something that piques my interest and makes me want to just obsess over it again and again, I'm really happy that I have a channel and some cool people that watch me to just geek out about it. I hope I see you guys again, and I hope you guys will be there to watch it.